Don't wait for tomorrow. Live for today. Keep chasing the sunshine and go out and
Good evening. Welcome to JK's Deal Reveal. Today, we are going to analyze a deal in under 30 seconds, 28 times in a row. How does that sound? Hope you're excited. Let us begin. So, what giveaways do we have today? Okay, well, first of all, I can't give you a giveaway because if you were wondering when the bus tour in Cleveland was happening, well, it's in 2 freaking days. It's on Saturday, and we closed the doors at noon today. So if you missed that bus, all right, we have one more opportunity for you, and that is next Saturday on the 12th. Okay, full day in Cleveland, and we'll tell you about that in just a little bit at the end after we go through this deal reveal. So the deal reveal is meant to be an opportunity for you to see that it's not rocket science. Do not get stuck in analysis paralysis, and thinking about what to offer and ultimately not offering anything. Or what's important is that you get your offers out there and submit your deals. Okay, and if you have a problem, if you have trouble with that, that's what this deal reveal is for. This entire call, we're going on for over 3 years. It's you submitting deals to me, and I look at them, in minutes, and we have a very good idea of what's happening to get you unstuck fast. So if you have a deal you'd like us to review, for example, someone emailed us, there might be a $4 million 4-property package coming up in Florida in the next coming week. So it doesn't matter what type of deal it is, we can get a very good sense of what it's all about in just a few minutes. So if you've got a deal, submit it to us, info@nowfortomorrow.club. Just like Daryl, who submitted this particular deal. Okay, Daryl has a mobile home park, a 28-lot mobile home park, 45 minutes north of Detroit. And by the way, this is a real deal, just like every deal on our deal reveal. And if you're interested to get more information, maybe working with Daryl, buying it yourself, don't matter. If you're interested in this deal, send us an email. This one happens to be we need to go through an NDA. That's why there's no address on today's deal reveal, but we're going to see, even without an address, okay, we can get a very good sense of what's happening with this type of deal. All right, so this is what it is. All right, are we ready to start our counter? All right, 26 lot mobile home park, includes 1 house and 1 apartment, asking $600,000. I've got a little bit more information from Daryl on this one. Basically, they're saying that the gross income, that in 1 year this park brings in 120,000, and of that 70,000 is net, meaning taxes, insurance, management, maintenance, utilities, and any other shit expenses that we get in real estate come out to 50,000. The seller's saying there's 70 left over. On top of that, the seller is basically saying that there's a very high rental demand. They get dozens and dozens of calls a week to rent in this park. Thing is, they don't have any more inventory. They don't have any other homes, okay? Other important facets here is that it is city water and sewer. In mobile home park spaces, could be a game changer. If it is public water through wells and private water through wells and private sewers, either a lagoon or a treatment plant, or just a private septic system, septic fields, and so forth. If those break, it's on you, right? And that can mean hundreds of thousands of dollars to fix or repair or replace. So they can really go up fast. So the fact that this is city water and sewer is a big check mark that makes it a lot easier when it comes to not having that much reserves on the side while you own this park. So this is where it gets interesting. We have 28 total units, right? 26 lots, a house and an apartment. But there's 13 park-owned homes, meaning if you bought this park, you would be buying 13 homes rented right now between 550 and 850 a month. There's also one extra vacant home, meaning it is park owned as well, but it needs new carpet before it's rented out. So there's 14 park owned homes total, 3 tenant owned homes. So they own the mobile home, you own the land, and they rent the land from you only, not the land and the home. So that's why their rent is lower. There's that one house rented for 450 a month, and the one apartment rented at 400 a month. And one of those two, I forget, is actually the on-site manager who gets a discounted rent for that. So if you do up the math here, you have 64% occupancy. There's a total of 28 rentable units here, and there are 18 currently that are rented. Right, 13, 3, 1, and 1 are currently rented out. So I talked through it a lot, but take a look how quickly we can do this. You have $120,000 gross income. Okay, let me pull up my calculator here. Okay, you should be able to see my calculator. You have 120,000 a year coming in. All right, this is a primarily all park-owned home, mobile home park. A park-owned home, mobile home park behaves a lot like an apartment building, and an apartment building where the tenants are paying for, well, basically are not paying for their utilities. It's about a 50% rule, just like in residential real estate. So we're in a very special case here where the 50% rule actually still applies. And so we have about $60,000 a year in net income off this property. That's what the quick trick is for park-owned home, mobile home parks. And 60,000 a year off a 600,000 investment. Well, what's the cap rate on that? 60,000 divided by 600,000 is 10%. This is a 10 cap at asking price. And we didn't even use the seller's 70,000. We were even more conservative because we took a 50% rule. Once we do get an accepted offer and we start dancing and all over and we do our due diligence, we're probably going to see that the NOI is lower than 70,000, right? But not crazy. I don't, maybe they're not including management where we as remote investors are going to hire professional management at 10%. And look at that, 10% of 120 is 12,000. Remove 12,000 off 70, you're at 58, and we used 60, okay? So that's why very, very quickly we can see how the numbers and that 50% rule is so freaking powerful, okay? So is it a deal or no deal? How long did it take to analyze 28 units? Tell me. Now, normally, and we're still doing it right now, we follow the 2 golden rules of real estate. Are we buying at a discount and are we buying cash flow? Well, let's start with cash flow. You're buying a 10 cap. So, you know, we've certainly seen some deal reveals that are below a 10 cap that do cash flow. And obviously it depends on your financing. If you're getting financing with 15, 20% interest rate, okay, you're not cash flowing. But if you have 600,000 or if you're getting financing in the 8% range, you have cash flow on this deal, okay? So cash flow, it's looking very good. And this is not even negotiated yet. This is just flat out asking at a 10 cap, it seems. Second is, are you buying at a discount, right? This one's a little bit more tricky to answer right on the spot. When you're in mobile home parks, if you're, and this one happens to be in Michigan, right, north of Detroit, I would definitely, enlist the help of a mobile home park specialized broker to get a sense of what the market cap rate is for mobile homes in that area. Are they trading on average at an 8 cap, a 7 cap, a 4 cap for this size? Now, a 10 cap is still high. I would expect the average cap rate for a mobile home park to be 8.5, 9 in northern Michigan. That's just a highball guess, all right? And right out the gate, we're at a 10. So with a little bit of negotiation, I don't see how this can't end up at a 12 or a 13 rather easily. And then, of course, if you've attended the blueprint, or if you know about creative real estate, seller financing, and all the different ways that we can increase our cash on cash return, well, that just puts a deal like this completely on steroids. And so we certainly have here a potential for buying at a discount and buying cash flow. So I'll ask it again. Is this a deal or no deal? All right. Don't be shy. Write it up in the chat here. Gloria, can you move the scientific calculator? Oh man, that's the fun part. No, no, it's all good, Gloria. You got it. Here it is. So these are definitely live as we go through this. A couple of other little points of reference that I want to give when it comes to mobile home parks is the occupancy rate. It's not for nothing I put it up here. When you get occupancy rates below 60%, there's typically two things. There's typically a problem. Now, is that a problem we can solve? Yet to be determined. The second thing is that it typically correlates that there's a lot of homes that you need to bring in to bring up the occupancy. Now, if you've got deep pockets, this could be a wonderful opportunity because every home you bring in is going to bring in about another 850, 900 of monthly revenue. 900 a month times 12, that's 10,000 a year. Almost that entire 10,000 is net profit because your taxes don't go up, your utilities, you'll most likely back bill to the tenants, all these things. Really, it's only your management cost that goes up a little bit, but you brought in so much more. So every home brings in extra 10,000. And if this really is a 10 cap market, that just increases your park's value by $100,000. Every 10,000 net will bring a value on the commercial lending side 10 times that value. You divide it by 10%, that's like 10,000 becomes 100,000 of value, and you can do that almost 10 times in this park. And so you can increase by your own capacity this park's value by 9 times, well, almost 10 times, $10,000. So that's increasing $100,000 of cash flow, almost pure cash flow, and increasing the park's value by $1 million. Now that is a value add. Thing is, every home, the lot needs to be prepped potentially. Hopefully all the infrastructure is there and good. You have to buy a home, move the home, prep the home, get it rent ready and rent it out. So there are costs and time, and it's a project. So here you've got to do that with basically 10 homes. I would factor about $50,000 per home to buy, deliver, prep, market to rent, and rent it out. 50,000 as a round number per home. So 10 times 50,000 is 500,000 that you may not have been factoring into the number of this deal up front. So if you buy it for, let's say you negotiate to 500,000 and you have to put in another 500, this is $1 million deal. It takes $1 million to make this deal happen. But this is a deal that is bringing in 120,000 right now. And after you bring in 10 more homes, bringing in another 100, you are basically bringing $100,000 more net income on top of the 60,000 net. We're at 160,000. So this park now is worth somewhere in the tune of 1.6 to, I'd say, about $2 million on a commercial lending point of view. And so that's a lift, right? You put in $1 million and now it's worth 1.6 to 2 million, at which point you can refinance that asset, right? Pull out your capital, keep your cash flow, never sell it. So no capital gains tax, none of that. Keep the cash flow for life. You get all your capital to go buy another one like this. Now, the numbers are still reasonable because we only have 10 homes. But imagine if you had even a 70% occupancy on a 200 lot park, right? That's 60 homes. 60 homes at $50,000 is a lot of money, okay? It's a lot of money. It's $3 million. $3 million in value add budget. So even though you might buy the park for 500,000, are you factoring 3 million to value add? Now, mathematically, it might make perfect sense to do that value add, right? But you do need to have the $3 million because it will, or between your partners and so forth, because banks and such, they very difficultly finance inventory like this. There are special programs, and for those of you who follow our multifamily manifestation program, we do talk about certain programs that you can bring in homes for free and marketing techniques to attract homes to your park. But ultimately, you have to bring in homes, and for the most part, it takes money. So that's what we have here. Do we have deal reveal? Yeah, any other comments or questions here? Do we have a deal? Are we going to put an offer on this park? City utilities, high rental demand. It seems like we're about at a 10 cap right out the gate. Opportunity to bring it up. A value add that can triple the park's value. And 10 homes, if you've got $500,000 to spend, you should be able to do that in a year, right? So this is like a year value add project if you have the capital lined up. You can probably increase these rents here, right? If there's some homes at 550 and others at 850, I'm like, what's the difference? It's in the same park. And typically homes are 2 or 3 bedrooms. It's not that big of a difference. Usually they should be like $100 apart. So some things to look into here, but ultimately, from what I see, it looks like there's a lot of value. It's a project, but I see value in here. And this one property could be someone's retirement, basically, right? Bringing in 150,000 net a year. You can definitely do a one and done deal on this one. So if anybody's interested in this particular deal, just send an email to us, info@nowfortomorrow.club. We can hook you up, sign that NDA, and go ahead, negotiate to your heart's desire. So hope you enjoyed our deal reveal for today. And I want to remind you all that this Saturday, no more spots on the bus tour, but next Saturday, we have another and second. It's the only Cleveland bus tour left on the schedule, and we do have limited spots. We feed you, we greet you, we drive you around town. You must have attended our blueprint to be eligible to attend the bus tour. And ultimately, there's tickets until we're sold out. And you can just go to n4t.club/Cleveland tour to RSVP your spot for August 12th. So that is our deal reveal. Have yourself a wonderful, wonderful evening. And for those of you who are part of the NFTC, tonight we are going to be talking about bus tours as a strategy to grow your real estate empire. So that's what our NFTC members are going to learn about tonight on the NFTC Mastery Call. So with that being said, love you a long time. And if you haven't attended our blueprint yet, stay tuned, look at this, and I'm wishing you a wonderful evening.